What's going on, guys? So, coming into this Raw, obviously the big questions were what's going to happen with the NXT guys, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, after they helped CM Punk retain the title last night at Survivor Series. And let's just say that WWE was smart in making everybody wait till the very end of the show to see those guys appear again. Because honestly, if you saw them first thing, would you wouldn't feel tempted to watch the rest of the show if it started to bore you. You would think to yourself, "Oh, I gotta watch this show. They could show up at any time," even though you had to figure they would show up when Ryback came on. But either way, getting into this Raw review, I want to kind of keep it short. Raw starts off with a Ryback promo. He wants a rematch. Vicky comes out and books him versus Tensai, which he destroys. I didn't pay too much attention to it. Ryback wins by shell shock. He actually got him up this time on live TV. Next, you had Kofi Kingston and Wade Barrett. Another decent match. Barrett gets the win and gets a future Intercontinental title match. And all I can say really is just thank God they're deciding to do something with Wade Barrett. For a while, it looked like they were just keeping him in limbo until he beat and eliminated Kofi Kingston last night in Survivor Series. So it's good to see that they actually have something for him in a sense. Sure, he's not in the world title picture like a lot of people, including myself, hope for. But Intercontinental is a good enough step at this point, even though he has held the belt previously. The middle of the show, though, I mean, it got pretty boring at this point. You had throughout the night Paul Heyman, getting a big celebration together for CM Punk for having the WWE Championship for a full year. So that was going on throughout the night. The next few matches were just, you had Caitlyn versus Oksana, which that is what it is. Caitlyn gets the win. Antonio Cesaro squashed Brodus Clay again, and it does look like Cesaro and Truth's, feud will continue, despite the crowd really not giving a damn last night at Survivor Series. It's nice to see Cesaro getting featured every week, and I believe I mentioned this on my Survivor Series review. It would be nice to see him be able to use a more diverse offense like he had on the indie scene. But people just aren't reacting to Cesaro right now. The typical anti-American gimmick just is not getting over. It's not working. So I really hope they find a way to mix it up before it's really too late and they do irreparable damage to his character. You had another generic AJ, John Cena, and Vicky Guerrero in-ring segment. Again, boring as hell, almost as bad as last night's. Cena ends up kissing AJ and injuring his knee while chasing Dolph Ziggler up the ramp after getting, attacked by Ziggler. You would see them later on again, so again, just another boring segment. You had a 2 out of 3 falls match between Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio. I don't even want to call it an extended match because it went the average length of their televised matches, which they've had on Raw and SmackDown, and of course pay-per-view matches. If you've seen one match between the two, you've seen them all. You had I don't know what was worse, Caitlyn versus Oksana, which of course I tried to defend the Divas match last night, but I couldn't defend this one. Or the Great Khali squashing Epico and Primo. There was literally no match. Khali's in the ring, he starts dancing. Hornswoggle comes out, does the Doink the Clown, water in the flower gimmick with Rosa Mendez. Khali hits the plunge on both colognes, and that's it. So what was the point of Khali being on TV this week? I don't know, but I'm definitely not wasting any more time with this. Fortunately, we learned that Paul Heyman loves balloons after that terrible match, so that kind of brought the mood up a bit. You had The Miz defeat David Otunga, just another generic kind of dull match. The Miz did get the crowd behind him at the end though, so the face turn is going well so far. Michael Cole even alluded to the fact that it's going to take some time, which of course all the internet reports are saying they want to do a slow build to turn him face. Of course, with the crowd getting behind him tonight, they might speed that up. But it is nice, to see him gradually turning. You had Sheamus versus Damian Sandow. Before the match, it was a decent back and forth promo between the Big Show and Sheamus. It's obvious they're wrestling again at TLC, most likely in a chairs match. Sheamus beats Damian Sandow in a decent, back and forth match again, nothing too special. Then you had a backstage segment with AJ, Dolph Ziggler, and John Cena. AJ basically prior to this told Vicky she was going to do something about what happened earlier. She goes into the men's heel locker room. I didn't need to see Heath Slater and the rest of 3MB in towels, but what are you going to do? AJ, just gets berated and just ran down by Dolph Ziggler. It was fantastic. And in the end called her trash. She starts to attack him. Cena pulls her off, and then Dolph brawls with Ziggler for a short time. They ruin like a wall to a bathroom stall. And apparently, at the end I didn't see this part, but after the commercial break, Josh Matthews said that the doctors believe Cena tore his meniscus. So, hey, if it keeps Cena off TV, I'm happy. Obviously, it's leading towards a Dolph Ziggler-John Cena match, which is fine by me. Hopefully, Ziggler comes out the better of it. He has money in the bank. Keep giving him that momentum. You got him that signature victory at Survivor Series. Keep doing good with him. You had Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio against Kane and Daniel Bryan after this. Another good tag match. I don't want to say another good tag match, but a good tag match. Everything you'd expect out of the two teams. Primetime players were on commentary, and they were great, hilarious throughout. They ended up interfering, causing a no contest. Mysterio and Sin Cara would have been the number one contenders if they won, so I imagine that there will be a triple threat match at TLC, but that'll have to, we'll have to wait and see for that. Then we got to the final segment of the show, which is CM Punk's, victory championship celebration. It was a pretty damn good video package showing Punk's victories over the past year. Paul Heyman was great throughout, even, comparing CM Punk to Bruno Sammartino and saying Bruno belongs in the Hall of Fame, which was pretty interesting considering all of, the controversy around Bruno not being in and what Bruno wants and how much he's criticized the business. Punk also mocked Hulk Hogan throughout, which was pretty funny. There was more, Punk Austin references, which they've been pushing pretty much since the start of the summer, even in, to last year when Punk and Austin had a confrontation when Punk was leading the Nexus. So, of course, everybody wants to see Punk Austin. I think at this point, everyone believes it's happening. And it might happen at 29, it might happen at 30, but I definitely think we'll see it at some point. Ryback ends up interfering. He gets attacked by Reigns, Reigns, Ambrose, and Rollins. He started to get some offense in, but overall they overcame him. Powerbombed him through the announce table for the second night in a row. And that was pretty much the end of the show. Punk just stood triumphantly over him while the NXT guys were in the ring. There was no union between the two or anything, which I guess makes sense, if you want to milk it and, just slowly lead up to them, being announced that, oh, Punk brought these guys in, even though they've already acknowledged that they were in NXT. But it makes sense to kind of build some interest towards TLC, considering everyone's already looking towards the Rumble, knowing Punk will more than likely have the belt unless they do some drastic change. So hopefully, once I'm pretty confident in saying, all the NXT guys are with Punk. I think everybody knows that. So hopefully that continues beyond TLC. I imagine at the Rumble they'll be interfering and having, have Rock fight him off just to end up beating Punk. I don't see any way. Obviously, The Rock's winning the belt at the Rumble, so just trying to enjoy these last few weeks with Punk as champion. When it comes to the NXT guys, obviously there's still a lot of controversy over Roman Reigns being the third member, at least within, a lot of people on the internet. I mean, a lot of people have said that they wanted Chris Hero, but in my opinion, even though I would want Chris Hero in that role, 2 out of 3 people weren't in it. Overall, this was just another, kind of generic, slow-moving Raw, nothing too special. Again, the pacing of these Raws, with it being 3 hours, it's so tough to stay focused for a full 3 hours. I thought they would have learned their lesson when Nitro did it. Hopefully, the USA Network decides to pull it back to 2. I can't imagine that the ratings are doing any much better now than they were when it was 2 hours, so. And you can tell it's really hurting storylines. We just had another Randy Orton ADR match. But yeah, overall, just another subpar Raw with very decent, material that was actually worth seeing. But, without rambling any longer, like I said, I wanted to keep this short. That's my review for Raw. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.